Donald Trump's recent decision to replace two key members of his foreign policy team puts the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, better known as the Iran nuclear deal, in serious jeopardy. Outgoing Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster long resisted Trump's impulse to scrap the JCPOA. But their replacements, current CIA Director Mike Pompeo as Secretary of State and former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations John Bolton as National Security Advisor, vehemently opposed the deal. The JCPOA, which was signed by the US, Iran, China, Germany, France, Russia, the UK, and the EU, was unanimously approved by the UN Security Council, and compliance is closely monitored by UN nuclear inspectors, who have found no violations by Iran. But critics condemn the deal's inclusion of time limits on some restrictions on Iran, which will expire in 2030. And they believe that other issues like Iran's ballistic missile program and support for militant groups should have been included. Bolton and Pompeo take this criticism further. Bolton claims that any deal with Iran legitimizes a corrupt and dangerous government and argues ominously for regime change. And in 2014, Pompeo, then serving in Congress, called for breaking off talks with Iran and launching airstrikes against its nuclear facilities. That jives with Trump's view of the deal, which he called one of the most incompetent ever made. And in fact, Trump opened up the possibility of a U.S. withdrawal in January when he set a May 12th deadline for the deal's European signatories to address some of its shortcomings, something that is widely considered impossible. So what might Trump and his new team of Iran hawks do? They could start by imposing a limited set of economic sanctions. That would upset Iran as well as America's European allies, but it may not spell the end of the JCPOA. They could also decide to reinstate most or all of the stringent sanctions that were in place before the deal was signed, including those that affect European companies. It's hard to see why Iran would remain in the deal under such circumstances, though the other signatories and the isolation of the U.S. could hold things together. If the Trump administration declared an outright U.S. withdrawal, the effect would be roughly the same, though it would strengthen Iran's hardliners, who are as hostile as America's to the JCPOA. But the most dangerous scenario would be U.S. military action against Iran's nuclear facilities, as Pompeo and Bolton have both advocated. That would further destabilize the Middle East, cause serious damage to U.S. relations with the other JCPOA signatories, and almost certainly rule out any deal to denuclearize North Korea.